Pull up any United flight to a small American city right now, Des Moines, Boise, Spokane. The booking says United, the confirmation email says United, and the app says United. But the airline actually operating that flight might not be United at all. It might be SkyWest or Republic or GoJet or CommuteAir. 4 completely separate airlines, different pilots, different training programs, different company cultures, all wearing the same uniform, all flying under one brand. This isn't a code share, it's not a partnership. This is United Express, a hidden network of approximately 420 aircraft operated by companies most passengers have never heard of. And it gets stranger. A single passenger journey through United Hub might involve 3 different airlines, 3 separate pilot groups, 3 distinct maintenance organizations, all seamlessly connected under one ticket, one brand, one frequent flyer program. By the end of this video, you'll understand why United has ended up building this invisible empire and why the entire system depends on a contract structure worth billions that most travelers don't even know exists. So let's get right into it and start with the very basics. For most passengers, when you board United Express flight, everything looks like United. The livery, the uniforms, the safety cards, the boarding music, and the app. But United Airlines doesn't operate a single United Express flight, not one. Every departure is operated by a separate company with its own FAA operating certificate, its own management, its own pilot contracts, and its own training organization. As of 2026, United Express flying is performed by 4 separate airlines operating approximately 420 aircraft in United colors. One of these companies, SkyWest, operates around 480 aircraft total. Roughly 41% of them carry United Express branding. That's over 190 aircraft from one regional carrier. SkyWest also flies for Delta, American, and Alaska. This is an airline that sits within multiple US airlines. Republic contributes a portion of its 220 plus Embraer 170 and 175 fleet to United Express, alongside American Eagle and Delta Connection. Mesa, now merged with Republic, flies 60 Embraer 175s exclusively for United. GoJet operates around 50 Bombardier CRJ 550s. CommuteAir adds 53 Embraer ERJ 145s. Add it up and you have a fleet larger than most major airlines, all hidden behind a single brand. Now, before this starts to sound like a conspiracy, there's something very important to clarify. United is not hiding this. If you scroll down during booking, the ticket will say operated by SkyWest Airlines or operated by Republic Airways. It's there, it's in the fine print, and it's required by the US Department of Transportation rules. Gate agents announce it, the safety briefing includes it. Legally, it's very transparent. But psychologically, most passengers never notice. And in the early days when I was flying domestically in the US, me neither. I did not used to notice it. Now I do, obviously, and now I definitely do recording this video. But because the aircraft says United, the app says United, and the loyalty program is United, and you have to remember, branding is super powerful. So while the structure is disclosed, the experience does feel unified, and intentionally so. That's not deception, it's design. United controls everything the passenger sees: schedules, pricing, revenue management, loyalty programs, customer service policies, and the regional carriers control everything the passenger doesn't see: pilot training, maintenance procedures, crew scheduling, and operational decisions. 2 completely separate organizations, but one seamless experience. At least, that's the theory. But to understand how this actually works and why United built it this way, you need to follow the money. And to follow the money, you need to understand one financial mechanism: capacity purchase agreements, or CPAs. Under a CPA, United doesn't buy tickets from regional carriers. It buys capacity, aircraft, and crews, paid for on a fixed fee or performance-based structure. The regional gets paid per departure, per block hour, or per aircraft. United keeps all of the ticket revenue. If a flight from Denver to Rapid City sells out at premium fares, United captures that revenue. If it flies half empty on a Tuesday afternoon, United absorbs that loss. The regional carrier's revenue is largely insulated from demand fluctuations. Their job is operational execution. Mesa Airlines operates over 200 flights per day under this structure, every single one feeding United's enormous network. And this arrangement gives both sides exactly what they need. For United, the advantages run deep. Network reach serving cities like Rapid City, Mammoth Lakes, or other small markets without operating those routes directly. Regional jets extend the network into places that would never normally justify a larger narrow-body, let alone a wide-body. And when demand shifts, United can scale capacity up or down without touching its own fleet. Then there's the risk transfer. Fuel price spikes, soft demand on a Tuesday in February, chronically low load factors on thin routes. Under a CPA, much of that operational risk shifts to the regional carrier who's being paid a fixed rate regardless. United is buying predictability and cost. Regional airlines operate with lower labour costs and leaner structures. It is simply cheaper to have a regional carrier fly a 76 Embraer into a spoke city than send a mainline aircraft. Plus, control. Even though United doesn't operate these flights, it controls everything the passenger sees: the ticketing, the pricing, the schedule, the branding. To the person booking a flight on United.com, there's no distinction. It's all United. And for the regional carriers, CPAs give them something they desperately need, and that's survival. The margins are thin, but the revenue is guaranteed. In an industry where demand can evaporate overnight, that guaranteed income is what keeps carriers like Mesa, SkyWest, and Republic alive. So United gets reach, flexibility, and cost efficiency, and the regionals get stability. And the passengers, well, the passenger just sees another United flight. But that raises a question. If the economics make so much sense, why doesn't United buy these regional airlines outright? Why maintain this complex web of separate companies? To understand that, you need to understand the one force that shapes the entire system from the inside. You see, pilot unions at major airlines don't want their flying outsourced, and they have the contractual power to prevent it. This creates scope clauses, contract provisions that limit what aircraft regional partners can operate under the major airlines brand. Restrictions on aircraft size, seat count, sometimes the total number of aircraft. For United Express, these clauses have shaped the entire fleet strategy. The Embraer 175 became the workhorse specifically because it fits within scope constraints. 76 seats, just enough capacity for thin markets, and small enough to satisfy union agreements. And this explains a major shift in early 2025. Mesa Airlines phased out its entire Bombardier CRJ900 fleet, and the final CRJ900 revenue flight occurred on the 28th of February 2025. The CRJ900 carries 76 seats, the same as the E175, but scope compliance isn't just about seat count. Weight limits, range, specifications, and contractual definitions all factor in. Mesa's transition to an all E175 fleet was driven by United requirements and operational simplification. The regional carrier didn't choose this composition independently. The mainland partners' labour contracts dictated it. The aircraft you see aren't just operational choices, they're practically negotiated. They're negotiated outcomes most passengers never see. But scope clauses don't dictate the aircraft. They're also the key reason why the system evolved the way it did in the first place. To understand today's United Express, you have to go back 3 decades. In the 1990s, the arrival of 50-seat regional jets like the CRJ200 transformed US aviation. Suddenly, airlines could connect smaller cities non-stop to major hubs. By the early 2000s, regional flying had exploded. But then came scope clause battles. Major airline pilot unions pushed back against outsourcing larger aircraft. Seat limits were negotiated, weight limits were defined, and by the 2010s, the industry had settled on a sweet spot: 76 seats. Large enough to be efficient, but small enough to fit within union agreements. That's why the Embraer 175 dominates regional fleets today. United Express isn't a modern trick. It's the result of 3 decades of negotiation between airlines, unions, and economics. And the people flying these aircraft, their story adds another layer entirely. You see, here's something most passengers don't realize. For many pilots operating these regional jets, United Express isn't the destination. It's the pathway. United operates a program called Aviate, a structured career pipeline that moves regional pilots into mainline cockpits. Some carriers have formal flow agreements, fly a certain number of years, meet performance standards, and you may transition directly into United Airlines. So the captain flying you to Boise today, they might be flying a 787 across the Atlantic within 5 years. Regional airlines aren't just outsourced capacity, they're talent incubators. And that makes the relationship far more strategic than it first appears. But this pipeline also reveals a major vulnerability, because when regional carriers can't find enough pilots, the entire network starts to crack. Between 2022 and 2024, pilot shortages forced regional carriers to ground aircraft. Small markets lost service, communities were cut off from non-stop connections. Some regional airlines disappeared completely, ExpressJet collapsed, Transstate shut down. When the hidden airline shrinks, small city America loses access first, and that's the fragility beneath the seamless brand. And it forced the industry to adapt. On November 25th, 2025, Republic Airways and Mesa Airlines completed their merger. The combined entity now operates approximately 310 Embraer 170 and 175 aircraft, more than 1,300 daily departures, one of the largest regional operations in American aviation history. Republic shareholders own roughly 88% of the new company, and Mesa shareholders retain 6 to 12%. Two of United's major regional partners are now one company. Fewer independent players, but larger concentrated capacity. The deal eliminated Mesa's significant debt burden and provides economies of scale in maintenance training and fleet management. But consolidation cuts both ways. Fewer partners means less competition for contracts, and larger partners means more bargaining power on the other side. So now you can see the full picture and why the system holds together the way it does. Economics that make small cities viable, scope clauses that dictate the aircraft, a pilot pipeline that feeds a mainline, and consolidation that's reducing the number of players. Four forces pulling in different directions, and remove one and the system becomes pretty unstable. The hidden network isn't an accident, it's an equilibrium, but equilibriums can shift. And here's the question no one asks. Is United Express growing or slowly shrinking? 50-seat jets are disappearing, pilot shortages have raised regional wages, mainline aircraft are getting larger and more efficient. If scope clauses loosen in future labour negotiations, United could bring more of this flying in-house. If regional wages keep climbing, the cost advantage narrows and some of those thin routes stop making sense entirely. If consolidation continues, United could end up dependent on just one or two regional partners instead of four. 10 years from now, the hidden airline might look very different. Fewer carriers, fewer aircraft, possibly fewer cities served. Or the opposite. New technology, new aircraft types, and shifting economics could give regional flying a second life. But what won't change is the fundamental problem it solves. Major airlines need to serve small cities, and small cities cannot fill large aircraft. As long as that gap exists, some version of the system will exist to bridge it. So the next time you board a United Express flight, look around. The aircraft is real, the crew is real, the destination is real, but the airline operating that flight may not be the one you think. Republic contributes a portion of its 220 plus Embraer 170. Ugh, a bit of a tongue twister. This is not deception, and it's if a flight from Denver to Rapid City, where the hell is Rapid City? I just want to make sure that's actually a place. Sounds like a cartoon. Rapid City exists. It's a place in South Dakota. And yeah, they have multiple United departures. United Express. Okay, cool. Rapid City is a real place. So the captain flying you to Boise today, Boise. Pilot shortages have raised regional wages. Pilot shortages. If scope clauses loosen in the future, If scope clauses loosen, I need a break. It's getting to the point where I just blur words together.